Good morning, Vancouver. It's Thursday, June the 6th, and from the Pollinate Studios, I'm Terminal City News, and this is Stephen Ferguson. A group of teens got into trouble earlier this week in a case that has everyone over the age of 19 shaking their heads. So, at Braid Station at 10 p.m., a man was waiting for a bus. He sees 4 teens, 3 girls and 1 guy, kicking at these bike lockers. Just pound, 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 kick, kick, kick. He tells them to piss off, give it a rest, leading the boy to threaten the man with a rusty knife. Hey, I'm on drugs, man. I'm crazy. I've got a rusty knife. Not even joking. This is like what he said. The man then did what any reasonable person would do and kicked the teen's ass. Hopefully in the nards, actually. But the boy ran off with his briefcase. So the man goes to chase him, which I think we'd all do as well, but was decked by one of the girls, and then the teens made good their escape. Sort of. They were apprehended by police 3 hours later at Lougheed Station. Yes, Lougheed Station, just one stop away. Okay, so here's the kicker. The boy is 14 years old, and this is his 50th run-in with the police. So I have to ask, I think we all have to ask, where are the parents? Anyway, no word yet on what will happen with the teens, but given the age of them, it could range anywhere from a literal slap on the wrist to a stern talking to, but not excluding a ride home with ice cream. I totally see where that bystander was coming from, though. If I saw a group of hoodlums, kicking at something, I would tell them to shove off, and also if they came after me, I would probably go Jean-Claude Van Damme on them as well. No, I'm serious though, because we're talking about 14-year-old kids here. They're not big thuggish kids. I mean, they're probably scrawny as heck, and one swift kick and they'd go down like anybody else, right? But yeah, anyways, the point of the matter is, I don't think anyone wants a tetanus shot. Rusty knives, tetanus, it's not happening. Several municipal councilors around the Lower Mainland are under fire for what critics are calling unnecessary spending of taxpayer dollars. Specifically, using such money to stay at the Fairmont in downtown Vancouver during the recent Federation of Canadian Municipalities conference. Several councilors from Coquitlam, including Mayor Richard Stewart and Surrey Mayor Diane Watts, all forked over hundreds of dollars to camp out instead of driving 45 minutes back home. Naturally, the Canadian Taxpayers Federation says that the money should go back, and some councillors agree. In fact, many from the area did drive home or stayed at the hotel at their own expense. I personally have no opinion except for the choice of venue, because the River Rock Casino Resort in Richmond is a much more economical, less dated, and friendly establishment. However, there is no word yet if the folding laundry wine-tasting clown parade that entertained councillors was taxpayer-funded. And now for some wonderful news. The Canadian Radio, Television and Telecommunications Commission has finally imposed some fair rules over mobile contracts in Canada. We're still charged an arm and a leg more than everybody else in the world, but there are some new, very fair impositions. The big one is that after 2 years, a user cannot be hit with a cancellation fee if they decide to break their contract or terminate their contract, I guess is a better way of putting it. They still have to, pay out the remainder that they owe on the phone, but that's about it. Also, extra data charges are capped at $50 per month, with international roaming capped at $100 per month. This is to prevent something that's called bill shock, which I think is pretty apropos. It's when you open up your bill and then your eyeballs roll out of your head because you simply can't believe how much the mobile companies are attempting to charge you. I'm looking at you, Bell! Anyways, if you paid fully for your mobile device, it has to be unlocked. If not, it has to be unlocked after 90 days. If your service is crap, you can return your phone within 15 days. And finally, if your contract makes no damn sense, you can accept or decline changes and receive a new contract that is in English. Marilyn Moss, a Vancouverite hoping to get from point A to point B, has been trying to navigate our city with the GPS in her Toyota RAV4. Problem is, the bloody thing doesn't work. When asking for directions to the UBC Museum of Anthropology, the car directed her to the Northwest Territories. I'm not making that up. When given an address for a 100-year-old heritage home, it sent her to Ontario. Even with a CTV reporter in the car with her, who was, trying to, determine the veracity of her story, the car was still giving faulty directions. Now, the funny thing is, Toyota is saying that the problem isn't with the car, but the problem is with her. They believe she's just not speaking clearly enough. Hopefully, Moss will pursue this issue very intelligently, and my recommendation is that she contact Toyota and have one of their VPs come into the car and drive around for her a bit, asking for directions. However, I would strongly recommend avoiding the Portman Bridge area because it's the 4th anniversary of ex-KGB agent Mikhail Lenikov's deportation order, which means dinner and cake all around. Sort of. Back in 2009, Lenikov was served notice to get out of the country, as Canada has this slightly understandable aversion to harboring expats with a history of espionage. Now, Lenikov said he has no interest in being a spy, but just raising his family. He was served, the order regardless. His point is fairly salient about not returning to Russia, however, because he has no wish to wake up one morning with cement shoes and several new holes in his head. As such, he's been claiming sanctuary in the First Lutheran Church ever since. No word on how he was able to get on in and pull that stunt, but there's no doubt in my mind about the innovative and inventive planning behind it. Questions are emerging about the partisan use of Prime Minister Stephen Harper's Twitter account, but I really don't care. I just can't believe some people do care. Jeez, people, I doubt that Harper himself is actually using Twitter. He's way too old and conservative for that type of hippie YOLO street cred crap. It's like if he Instagrammed his shoes while the House was in session. Number one, it's probably not him, and number two, isn't there something going on in Turkey that we should all be reporting about? Friday night was party night for several teens by my place on Caribou in Burnaby on some train tracks. Now, I would have been the first to tell them that this was a really bad idea because I know how frequently those tracks are used. I would also have mentioned that it was a really bad idea to get blind, drunk, and snort ecstasy off the tracks. Now, you may see where this is going. The teens allege that they didn't hear the pounding fate train coming, and as such, the Destiny Express struck one of the teens on the head and sent the others scrambling. Now, instead of shooting the boy's brains off several kilometers in the opposite direction, the boy was found with only minor injuries and honestly told the police about the whole situation and how it happened. He was taken to the hospital where doctors were, no doubt, all starting to believe that the Lord must truly love this shithead. The police are not going to press charges for some bizarre reason because, I guess, getting beamed by a speeding train and having your friend scream at the belief that your skull has been turned into a watery piñata was punishment enough. Olé! That's all for this week, Vancouver. Hey, did you guys know that I did some stand-up just this last weekend? It's absolutely true. Go to YouTube, search up the Paul and Nate Show Live. I'm including a nice little thing right here for you to use as a reference. Look up at all our uploaded acts. I can't promise that mine's going to be uploaded immediately from the last night, but they'll be uploaded soon, so why don't you just subscribe to the channel, subscribe to our YouTube channel, check in with nshgfilms.com, go to thepaulandateshow.com. I'm just going to plug everything right now. Plug. Visit the Second Story Theater. Anyways, keep tabs on nshgfilms.com for more videos. Ladies and gentlemen, for your entertainment, the Folding Laundry Wine Tasting Clown Parade! Hospital Corners!